talking about planting tomatoes. As you can kind of see, I've went ahead and made all my holes in advance. Got all my plants set out. Also, since I don't have markers for them and stuff on these here, because it was just written on the pots, we got them. Most of these here are actually from Lisa and Daryl Stevens, and so they do a great job raising plants and selling them and stuff in the spring. And always good plants. So what I did then, and I'll show you here, is I drew my 12 holes, and then I went ahead and marked each hole what it is, so I can keep that in the house, so later on I know what I'm working with. Here you go, Bo. Okay, so one thing with tomatoes, you can see my potatoes are right over there. Tomatoes and potatoes are in the same family, and so you want to try to keep them, number one, not right by each other, or not within about 10 feet of each other. And I think I stepped it off in about 8 feet. So, but I'm running out of space. That's all they're getting. You also want to make sure you rotate your crops. Don't plant the tomatoes the same place potatoes were last year. Don't plant your potatoes the same place tomatoes were. Vice versa, don't plant your potatoes in the same place potatoes were. And what that does is the tomatoes and the potatoes are the same family, and so any disease one of the other two might get, they could pass it on to the other one. And so that's why it's you need to make sure you rotate. And it's a good idea to rotate all your different plants throughout your garden year by year, because they all put off different nutrients into the soil. And then that way you can make sure your soil stays fresh. Okay, so tomatoes. You always know a tomato by its smell, and I happen to enjoy that smell. Okay, so I'm going to get this out. Maybe. Okay, there we go. So I got my tomato out, and I've got, of course, my hole dug. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take on all these lower branches and pinch off these lower leaves. Okay, and the reason for that is I want to bury this tomato deeper. Okay, if I can get close enough, you can kind of see all those little hairs that are on there. Those, if you plant them into the dirt, will become roots. And so the deeper we can plant these, the better root system we're going to have. And so I always go up until you get about to the main bush part of the plant, and then I leave that on, it'll grow. Okay, and then with the dirt here, we're not going to worry about loosening this up because it is really loose potting soil. And I'm going to have to go deeper. So, 1 second. Okay, so I got a little deeper here, as you can see, and then I can push my dirt in, and actually I need, what I'll do is I'll put a little bit of water. Sometimes I'll put some Miracle-Gro in it, but with our soil being as good as it is, it probably wouldn't need it. And so I'm just going to give them oops, that didn't work out well. Fresh drink of water. Get that water in can, Bo. Before I put the dirt in this case now, the mud. And then I'm just going to push it around. Oh, I don't need it right now. Okay. Now, as you can see, I'm just going to pack it down a little bit. I planted that up pretty high, and this was a fairly tall one. Like this one here coming up in a while, that's very tall, and it's going to have to go in deep. And Tobias here already went through and pinched everything off for me in advance, so that's ready. So we're going to go ahead, and then that's it for tomatoes, except for you'll need tomato cages. And we make our own tomato cages, and I've got to make some more, so I'll show you how to do that in a different video. Got to have them pretty tall, especially around here. It seems like with our soil gets them grown big. So, but anyways, that'll be another video. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to plant the rest of these. The boys are going to get started spreading grass. We always try to spread it right around it at first. If we don't have enough grass to do the whole area, that way weeds don't grow right around it. So I'll show you the final product here in a little bit. So here's the final product. Of course, before we put grass on. As you can see, most of these were fairly tall before we put them in the ground, but we buried them pretty deep. Give them a good root system and help them grow big. Keeps, you know, the bottom roots more in water if it gets a little dry for some reason. And so we're gonna grass these up. The boys went to eat supper, so there's more tomatoes, and we don't normally plant quite this many, but I wanted 2 of each variety and feed them varieties. And so come later summer I may have some tomatoes if anybody needs it. So hopefully this was helpful, and thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.